The Hungarian Parliament building, which was designed and built in the Gothic Revival style, is one of the largest buildings in Hungary and is home to hundreds of parliamentary offices. Although the impressive building looks fantastic from every angle, to see the whole building in full glory, it's worth viewing it from the other side of the Danube. It is one of the grandest spas in the city, the Galate Bath and Spa Center, which includes an open-air pool which turns into a wave pool, an effervescent swimming pool, a Finnish sauna, and a range of other saunas and plunge pools. Massages and other spa treatments are also available at an extra fee. The complex was originally built between 1912 and 1918 in an Art Nouveau style, but it sustained serious damage during World War II. The whole spa was extensively renovated in 2008 to bring the baths back to their former glory. The baths are open all week for mist bathing. Heroes Square, or Sectere, which marks the end of Andrassy Avenue, is it is home to an iconic monument which features depiction of the seven chieftains of the Magyars, who are believed to have led the Hungarian people from Central Asia to the Carpathian Basin. Atop the central pillar is the Archangel Gabriel, who is holding the Hungarian crown. At either side of the central column are two matching colonnades which depict a variety of other historical Hungarian figures. The impressive buildings at either side of the square are art galleries. Take care when crossing to the statue because traffic around the monument can be erratic. Margaret Island is a 2.5-kilometer long island which sits in the middle of the Danube, which is covered in parkland and recreational facilities. Other notable features on the island include medieval ruins and a small aviary which primary caters for injured water birds and wildfowl. This stretch of the Danube walkway goes from Elizabeth Bridge to the Chain Bridge, and it is perfect for those who want a short but interesting walk. Promenading along the Danube is a great way to see many of the most famous sites in the capital. The St. Stephen Basilica is one of the most important religious buildings in Hungary, and visitors to the reliquary can see the reported right hand of Stephen, first king of Hungary. As this is a holy site, visitors who plan on entering the church are asked to dress in an appropriate way. You can travel up to the base of the dome and look out over the city. On a clear day, this is a great vantage point from which to survey Budapest from the air. This neo-Renaissance building was first opened in 1884 following a commission from Emperor Franz Joseph. Outside of the building you can see statues to Ferenc Erkel, composer of the Hungarian national anthem, and Ferenc Liszt, Hungarian composer. The 1200-seat auditorium is considered to be one of the best in the world for operatic performances, and it is well worth it to buy a ticket to the show. This wonderful sculpture park is now home to some of the many communist monuments and statues which dotted the city during the communist era. These statues were either removed by the government as part of the decommunization process, or they were forcibly removed by the Hungarian people in protest at the previous regime. When the park was opened in 1993, it became a place to display some of the monuments and showcase an important part of the city's history. A small museum on site also includes temporary exhibitions about life under the communist regime, including information about the Hungarian secret police. The synagogue is currently one of the largest in the world outside of Israel, despite the fact that Hungary's Jewish population a lot decreased after World War II. The interior and the garden were restored in the 90s, with much of the funding coming from the Hungarian Jewish diaspora population worldwide. In the garden you can see a willow memorial whose metal leaves bear the names of some of those killed during the war. The Great Market Hall in central Budapest is the most famous marketplace in the city. Many locals still use the market as a place to buy their groceries, but the market is incredibly popular with the tourists too. Locally grown fruit and vegetables and locally sourced meats are found on the lower floors, and souvenirs including lace, chess sets, and leather goods are available in the upper floors. As well as individual ingredients, it is possible to pick up homemade local delicacies like goulash and langos from the food stall upstairs. The funicular, which first opened in 1870, is the second oldest funicular of its kind in the world. A system of weights and counterweights is used to help to raise the carriages up and down the hill. The funicular is the fastest way to get to the top of Castle Hill and is exceedingly popular because of its panoramic views out across the Danube. The Liberty statue on Gellert Hill is one of the few prominent communist statues which remained after the transition to democracy, in part because of its iconic location overlooking the city. The statue was first erected in 1947 to commemorate the Soviet troops who lost their lives fighting against the Germans. However, the engraving was later changed so that it commemorates all who sacrificed their lives for the independence, freedom and prosperity of Hungary. The panoramic views from underneath the statue are unparalleled and help to make the walk to the top of the hill well worthwhile. The citadel, which sits atop Gellert Hill, was constructed by the Habsburgs following the failed Hungarian War of Independence. It was thought that its prime strategic position would make it easy to control both Buda and Pest should any future uprising occur. Troops were stationed at the citadel until 1897. Soviet forces once again used the fortress to control the city during the 1956 Hungarian Revolution, and tanks which were situated there fired down on the city. The citadel now houses a restaurant, a hotel and a museum. The Széchenyi Baths complex is the largest medicinal plant bath center in Europe. The waters are rich in sulfates, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonate and fluoride, which are believed to help patients with joint illnesses and other medical issues. For those who just want to enjoy the relaxing powers of the thermal pools, there are a variety of different thermal pools on the site, as well as saunas and steam rooms. Massages and beauty treatments are also available out at an additional fee. The two outdoor pools are fantastic places to visit on a cold dark night, as the steam rising from the hot water makes the whole place seem wonderfully mysterious. The Hungarian National Museum is home to thousands of exhibits detailing the history, art, religion and archaeology of the country, including exhibitions from areas which are now considered to be outside of Hungary's borders. The spectacular neoclassical museum building itself is worth looking at, even if you do not plan on touring the inside. The peaceful gardens outside of the museum are considered to be a popular meeting spot and are particularly popular during the summer months. This is a great chance to explore some of Hungary's ancient history. Aquincum was a Roman city which stood where Budapest stands today, and served as an important military base in the ancient Roman Empire. It is possible to walk around some of the ruins, including those of an ancient gladiatorial amphitheater and other structures such as the city bathhouse. In the museum itself, you can view various Roman relics and a working replica of the famous water organ which was discovered in the area in 1931. Every visit to the city begins at the Dobor Istvan Square, the lively heart of Eger. Lined with colorful Baroque buildings, cafe and restaurant, the square is a popular meeting place for locals. At the center stands a dramatic monument to Captain Istvan Dobor, the hero of the 1552 siege of the castle of Eger. The statue shows him with a sword raised, ready to defend the city. Around him are figures of soldiers and even women, true heroes of Eger who joined the fight. A reminder of how ordinary townspeople once shaped Hungary's history. Just off the square, look for the Eger Stars Promenade, Egri Csillagok Szitanya. It's a walk of fame dedicated to local celebrities who contributed to the city's culture and reputation. Behind the square, you'll also find a statue of Gaidoni Géza, one of Hungary's most beloved writers. He immortalized the story of Eger's heroic defense in his classic novel Eclipse of the Crescent Moon, Egri Csillagok, making this spot a fitting tribute. Standing proudly on Dobor Square, the medieval church of St. Anthony of Padua is one of the most beautiful Baroque churches in Hungary. Built in the 18th century, its curved facade, twin towers, and Corinthian columns dominate the square and make it one of Eger's most photographed landmarks. Inside, the church is just as impressive. The main altar shows Saint Anthony having a vision of the Virgin Mary holding the baby Jesus, while the ceiling frescoes illustrate key scenes from the saint's life. Light filters through the windows, highlighting gilded details and adding to the sense of grandeur. Across the street from the Lyceum rises the impressive Basilica of St. John the Apostle, Basilica of Eger, Hungary's second largest church. Its neoclassical facade is framed by towering Corinthian columns, while statues of Hungarian kings and apostles guide the entrance. The basilica was commissioned by the Archbishop of Eger. Inside, the vast frescoes, ceilings, and detailed sculptures create a sense of awe. One of the highlights is the ornate Weeping Mary Chapel, along with frescoes that hide tiny surprises if you look closely. During summer, daily organ concerts fill the church with music, and it's worth timing your visit to hear the sound echo through the enormous space. Directly opposite the basilica stands the Lyceum, an elegant Baroque building commissioned by Bishop Károly Esterházy in the 18th century. Today it serves as a university in Eger, but behind its great facade you will also find two of Eger's most fascinating attractions, the Archdiocese Library and the Observatory. Founded in 1793, the library boasts a collection of over 170,000 volumes, making it one of Hungary's most significant repositories. Among the manuscripts are treasures like a handwritten letter by Mozart and one of only 3 surviving Dante codices in the world. While the rarest pieces are safely locked away, the reading room itself is worth a visit. Think of painted ceilings, old wooden shelves, and the atmosphere of centuries of learning. Climb to the top floors of the Lyceum and you'll find the observatory and scientific adventure center. The highlight is the Camera Obscura, the oldest working one in Europe. Using mirrors and lenses, it projects a live image of the city onto a viewing table, allowing you to watch people moving in the streets below in real time. The tower also offers a sweeping 360-degree view across Eger, from the Basilica Dome to the castle walls and the rolling big hills beyond. On clear days, it's one of the best places to see the city from above. Right between the Basilica, the Archbishop's Palace and the Lyceum, you'll find Esterhazy Square, one of the most elegant corners of Eger. Named after Bishop Karoli Esterhazy, who commissioned the Lyceum, the square is framed by monumental architecture on all sides. It's a lovely place to pause during your walk, especially in the evening when the buildings are beautifully lit. Grab a bench under the trees, enjoy an ice cream in summer, or simply soak in the view of three of Eger's most important landmarks at a glance. Visiting the castle is one of the top things to do in Eger. Rising above the town, this fortress tells a story of courage and survival. Back in 1552, Captain Istvan Dobor and the townspeople defended the city against the Ottoman army during the famous Siege of Eger. The attackers were many times stronger, yet the defenders stood their ground and forced them to retreat. As you walk through the gates today, it's easy to picture the chaos of battle and imagine the people who once fought here. It's best to start your morning at the castle. Try to arrive when it opens, and you will have the courtyards and panoramic views of Eger almost to yourself before the big day trip groups roll in from other cities. On the other hand, if you'd like to witness a bit of theater, plan your visit for 1552. That's when a cannon is fired each day to honor the famous siege. Inside the walls, there's plenty to discover. You can wander through the underground tunnels Casamata, stop by the Heroes Hall, or check out exhibitions about medieval life. As you continue upwards, climb to the bastions of Cavalry Hill. From here, the view stretches across Eger and all the way to the big hills on a clear day. After exploring the historic sites, head over to the Archbishop's Garden, the largest park in Eger and often called the lungs of the city. Once a private hunting ground for bishops, it has been open to the public since 1919. Today it's a peaceful green escape right in the heart of town. If you are in the mood for something sweet, make a stop at the Samosh Marzipan Museum and Cafe. Inside the museum you will find delicate figures, decorations and even miniature building crafted entirely from marzipan. It's quirky and fun and doesn't take too long to explore. One of the most striking reminders of Eger's Ottoman past is the minaret, a 40-meter tower built in the 17th century. It's the northernmost minaret left standing in Hungary and one of the best preserved. Climbing it is not for the faint of heart. 98 steep and narrow steps spiral all the way up to the balcony. From the top, the view over the city is fantastic. You can spot the basilica, castle walls and rooftops stretching across the valley. Right in the heart of the city, just a short walk from the main sites, you'll find the Eger Thermal Bath. Spread across a leafy 5-hectare park, it's a place where locals and visitors come to relax and recharge. There are several pools here, each with its own character. One of the most special is the Pebby Pool, fed by a natural spring. Locals swear by the healing effect of its radon-rich thermal water, which feels smooth and silky on the skin. Next to the modern spa, you'll find the historic Turkish bath, a reminder of Eger's Ottoman past. The oldest pool here dates back to 1610, and stepping inside feels like a little journey through time. The highlight is the mirror pool set beneath a golden dome that reflects beautifully in the water. There are 6 pools in total, each fed by thermal springs, along with saunas and hammam-style treatments if you want to indulge further. From Dobo Square, follow Kossuth Lajos Street, the main pedestrian walkway in Eger. As you walk, keep an eye out for the Fazzola gates. These ornate wrought iron gates were crafted in the 18th century by Henrik Fazzola, one of Hungary's most famous iron masters. Their intricate flora and baroque patterns are the works of art in metal, and spotting them feels like a little treasure hunt along the street. Look closely at the details. The gate on the left is decorated with grapevines, a nod to Eger's winemaking tradition. The one on the right shows the city's coat of arms, tying the gates to Eger's proud history. Together, they are not just beautiful places of craftsmanship, but also symbols of the city itself. Danube Bend. Located just north of Budapest, the Danube Bend is a scenic section of the Danube River that winds its way through wooded hills and historic towns. Popular stops include Ice Tree, Szentendre, known for its galleries, museum and churches, Esztergom, home to Hungary's largest church, and historic Visegrad, home to one of the most prominent and photographed spots in the Danube Bend, the Citadel. Gedele. Its main tour guide is the Gedele Royal Palace, Hungary's largest Baroque manor house and a former favorite summer residence of the country's Queen Elizabeth VI. Visitors can explore the palace's 34 beautifully restored rooms and gardens, offering a glimpse into royal life, while the surrounding town offers a quieter and more relaxed alternative to Budapest. Big National Park, a haven for nature lovers with its diverse birdlife, limestone caves, forested trails, and panoramic viewpoints. Popular attractions within the park include Sarajka Valley near Silvasvard waterfall, where visitors can hike to a waterfall, explore a cave, or ride in the old-timey narrow gauge railway. Tokai Hegialia. Tokai Hegialia, declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2002, is Hungary's top wine tourism destination. The region is spread over a romantic landscape of cellars, vineyards and slopes at the foothills of the Zemplen Mountains and is made up of 27 villages. The most famous variety produced here is the honey-sweet Assou wine, which was called the wine of King's wine by Louis XV of France and even features in the Hungarian national anthem. Patch, for its cool university town vibe, mild climate and interesting museums, Patch is blessed with rarities like the Ottoman-built Mosque of Pasha Kazim, the largest Ottoman structure still standing in Hungary, and a nearby landmark, a Roman cemetery dating from the 4th century in the early Christian necropolis. The town's true highlight is the Zolnai Cultural Quarter, a museum complex on the grounds of the original world-famous 1853 Zolnai porcelain factory. Great Hungarian Plain. The Great Plain Nagia Fold spans nearly half of Hungary, a region of sweeping grasslands and rural towns. At its height lies the Hortobágy National Park, showcasing traditional Hungarian shepherding culture and horse shows. Here you can visit authentic shepherd huts or walk across the 9-arched bridge, Hungary's longest stone bridge. The Hungarian Great Plains also has some historical treasures, among which we can discover the so-called Kunhalom Cuman moons that were built in the Yamna culture 5,500-5,700 years ago. The spectacular earth pyramids served as burial chambers at the time, constructed by all members of the community. Bugak in the Kisukang National Park is another great spot where you can see traditional Hungarian herding culture in action. The Bugak Puszta features walking trails and a museum of shepherding. You can also see how the shepherd's life is. Lake Balaton, Central Europe's biggest lake over the Hungarian Sea. Most people go there to spend their summer holidays. In winter, where the lake freezes over, it turns into a giant ice skating rig. The shoreline is dotted with picture-perfect marinas, tiny villages and lovely vineyards. Balaton featured the oldest resort on the lake, and Tihany, which hosts the fragrant Tihany Lavender Festival in early July, are popular spots with most travelers. Holcomb, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in northern Hungary, is celebrated for its preserved folk architecture and traditions. Home to the ethnic Paloch people, the old village is characterized by cobblestone streets lined by whitewashed houses with carved wooden porches.